Every single live action ever made has been horrible. Until now. Netflix's new One Piece live action adaptation has broken the live action curve. The ratings are super high, the fans of the original show love it, and the characters don't look like this.
Oh my god!
Throughout the years, there have been so many bad live action remakes of movies, TV, and anime, but the new One Piece one hasn't done that. And throughout this video, I'm gonna explain the 3 reasons as to why and how to make an incredible live action remake. But first, we're gonna break down every live action remake into 3 notable tiers. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The good, One Piece. Okay, it's a very controversial opinion, but the new One Piece live action might be the best thing ever made. Seriously, the show is fantastic and Netflix nailed every single thing about it. First off, dude, the casting was perfect. Iñaki Godoy as Luffy is perfect because he is Luffy just in real life. What's crazy is when the original creator of One Piece, Ichiro Oda, saw Iñaki for the first time, he said, that's Luffy. Like, come on, dude, he's perfect. So is Emily Rudd as Nami and Makenyu as Zoro. Like, he was 100% born to play this character. I think it's his life goal. Taz Skylar as Sanji and Jacob Gibson as Usopp. Mwah, dude. Chef's kiss, perfect. Also, the outfit designers did a legendary job because look at the costumes these characters are wearing. It's amazing. Just those little details and Easter eggs add so much to the characters and the whole live action version of the show. Seriously, every element of the show is incredibly well done. The sets and locations that have been crafted just for this series make me just gush in awe as to how amazing the amount of effort that was put into the show it shows on camera. It's fantastic. What's really tricky is taking the accuracy from the anime into the show itself, and I think they've done it perfectly here. The show itself covers the whole East Blue saga, which is about 18 hours long, condensed down into 8 one-hour-long episodes. It's funny, it's emotional, the fight scenes are so entertaining, and I watched them with my jaw wide open and my pants soaking wet. I think I've talked enough about how much I love the show, but let me explain one of the first of the 3 reasons as to how to make a great and incredible live action remake, and that's staying true to the original. Why Netflix's One Piece version of the original show works so well was because of all the, hundreds of reasons that I mentioned. You were listening, right? Staying true to the original adaptation, which is what One Piece was based on, made these shows so great in the first place. With interviews from the cast members describing this about one of the creators and the showrunners of the show, Matt Owen.
Matt, the showrunner, he's a super fan. Who better to make an adaptation than a super fan?
He's a super fan. He knows everything about the show, and unlike me, he's probably watched all 1,071 episodes of it. Just like my brother, and I have no idea how he has that much free time. Yeah, you really gotta stay true to the original series, and it's such a great help that Eiichiro Oda was a part of the making and creative direction of the show because he has so much that he could apply and knowledge he could give because it's the thing he spent his whole life creating. The show definitely stayed true to the original, and unlike Netflix's other live action anime remakes like Death Note and Cowboy Bebop, this one was really good and a very pleasant surprise. Unlike the first live action remake from the bad section is Breaking Bad? It's everyone's parents' favorite, Alvin and the Chipmunks. Now for some reason, a lot of these movies that I'm going to talk about very soon, I have seen them so many times. This movie is certainly one of them, or movies if you will. Yeah, there are 4 live-action Alvin and the Chipmunks remakes, and if you want a good reason for that, I have nothing except, they made so much money. Looking at the first movie, it had a budget of $61 million, and if you were to take a guess as to how much money the movie ended up making, you probably wouldn't say $361 million. Yeah, just shoot me now. Yeah, so for some reason, I've watched Alvin and the Chipmunks so many times. When I was a kid, this movie was extremely popular. So popular, in fact, I wasted so many hours of my life watching it. All 4 of these movies are one worse than the other, and I wish I could go back in time to tell my child self, this movie is straight ass. Like, even the present version of me still thinks that this movie isn't that bad. Like, genuinely, I want to give this movie another watch. Yeah, I said it. I kinda like Alvin, Simon, and the Green Nut Goblin theater. Okay, next up, we got Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo is probably the one on this list that I haven't watched much of. And I know these movies have an oddly dedicated audience, which I can definitely get down with. Like, I can get high and watch Shaggy and Scooby get high as well. Editing bin here. I don't do drugs. There was a joke. There was a joke. I don't do drugs. See, now you're probably gonna think I do drugs, but but even when I was a kid, I avoided these movies like the plague because I knew they were straight ass. Why do I keep saying that? But from what the trusty reviews have said, which I can always rely on, is that this movie wasn't that good, but just like Alvin and the Chipmunks, it made a shit ton of money. Oh, and don't forget about the second movie. It's even worse. So there must have been something up with the decade of the 2010s because there were so many live action, just horrible remakes in this era. And I think the Smurfs might be one of them. The Smurfs was not one, but two live action adaptations of the original thing that were just incredibly weird. There's something just horrifying about the way the Smurfs look. And I mean, I guess the movie was made in 2011, so the CGI... Actually, no, CGI was good then. What am I saying? Okay, no excuses then. The Smurfs are clap. It's not just them though, the humans are also... No, I don't know what it is, but there's something to do with the way this movie is either shot or edited or the CGI that makes it really unappealing. They are blue, and they make me want to dabba-dee, dabba-die. Okay, I peeked. Now, since that was the best joke I've ever made, it's time to talk about the second thing that makes an incredible live-action remake, and that's the story. It's such a basic one, but it's probably the most important thing about nailing a live-action remake. The story has to work perfectly off the original adaptation, but also at the same time has to make new subplots and narratives to make the story still spicy and interesting. This is something that One Piece did perfectly, while also covering the whole East Blue saga and making new stories and giving new characters new life. In the case of the Smurfs, the original comic didn't really have any story, but it was the fact that they were recognizable figures that it was easy for a big budget company to buy it and turn it into a live action remake to make a ton of money. You really have to have a good story, otherwise the movie or the show isn't going to go anywhere. Also, fun fact, I did watch the Smurfs 1 and 2 way too many times to count. That one scene with the Smurf hiding in the toilet paper? Vivid nightmares. Next up is a funny one. It's a goofy, it's a silly, it's a wacky one. It's The Last Airbender. Now, the reason why I say that it is 1, goofy, 2, silly, and 3, wacky is because I've never seen it before, okay? And I really don't want to watch it because it looks horrible. Like, what on earth is this? All I know from the countless reviews is that it's ass. Dude, it's straight ass, dude. This was one of Nickelodeon's biggest mistakes, taking on one of the only 3 things that's good that they've ever made. Those being Avatar: The Last Airbender, the TMNT animated series from 2012, and of course, Fanboy and Chum Chum. And turning it into a horrible live-action remake. This thing did horribly. It got a 5% on Rotten Tomatoes, and there are some new rumors that Netflix is also working on a live-action version of it too. All I'm saying is I hope Netflix can do better than whatever the hell this is. Netflix better watch out, because they set the bar pretty high. Next up, we've got... Are you serious? Are you serious? Garfield? So Garfield, the movie, and yes, there was a second one, because of course there was a second one. Was for some reason a movie I absolutely loved as a child. Garfield plummeting to his death and falling through a truck into lasagna. Hilarious. I cried little child tears of joy when that happened. It was magnificent. Yeah, I don't know, dude. This was another movie I watched so many times growing up, and I cannot explain why. Maybe seeing a fat ginger cat with the voice of Bill Murray dancing to Hey Mama by the Black Eyed Peas really did something to me. Sexually. The ugly Dragon Ball Evolution. One of only 2 live action adaptations that I think are just absolutely atrocious. Leaving a stain on the original legacy of the original art is Dragon Ball Evolution. Now, unlike some of One Piece, I've never watched Dragon Ball. And I don't know if that's gonna change. Okay, let me show you this one clip with 0 context.
Oh, good!
So what did you think? Released in 2009, this 1 hour and 25-minute long masterpiece was probably the weirdest thing ever to have come out of the Dragon Ball universe, with it just being so uncomfortably bad. The ratings for the movie are not good. The cast looks nothing like their characters, and okay, don't even get me started on the special effects. Dude, it looks like a fever dream. This movie is something that Dragon Ball fans have tried to avoid because it is something that never needed to get made. It's a complete dumpster fire, an ugly, uncomfortable mess, and maybe because it was released in 2009 is why it's so bad, but I don't know. I don't think that's an excuse for it. This continuing curse of bad live-action remakes has been going on for decades, but now, finally, one show has managed to slither under it and capture even a piece of that beauty of the original. One Piece. See what I did there? Because I was talking about... The final thing I want to talk about is this horrible, just complete mess of a movie that is the 2012 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This movie is something that is extremely personal to me. Why is that? I hear your snobby voice asking. Well, TMNT was like my childhood. I've grown up loving the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for so many reasons. These people are exactly what I wanted to be in middle school. Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael, these guys took over my childhood, and that is completely due to the 2012 animated series. This show was fantastic. I love all the voice actors, the story of the show, the animation style, and everything about it just hooked me in, and I completely understand why people have grown up with loving the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for over 35 years now. And also, does anyone remember the trading cards that they had? Okay, I'm gonna get it. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Look at this. These cards are like my child. If anyone's got a rarer card than this, oh my god, let me know. I had special Splinter, okay? You ain't beating that. Challenge me to a Teenage Mutant Ninja card duel. I'll beat you any day. So I think my love for the franchise blinded me the first time when I saw the live action movie. Dude, for me, this movie was incredible. I freaking loved this movie and thought it was so cool. And boy, oh boy, looking back at it now, I was so wrong. This movie, say it with me, is ass. Compared to every single other Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle thing. This movie sucks. It's boring, it's vanilla, it's uninteresting, it's not fun at all to watch, and I am so surprised. It's a miracle that this movie did well. And let me just say, there's a reason why I put this movie in ugly. And literally, for the first half of this movie, it's Will Arnett, also the voice of Surly Squirrel from the hit movie The Nut Job, and Megan Fox, which is cool. But I want to see some turtles. So I remember watching this bored out of my mind in the cinema, and then the face I made when I first saw the Ninja Turtles enter was, let me recreate it. Wow. Even though I loved this movie as a kid, I was still very creeped out by the way that the turtles look. They are vomit-inducing, just horrifying. And imagine seeing this movie in 4D. Mommy, what did they do to the Ninja Turtles? I can't. I really can't. I'm sorry, whose idea was it to make these characters, the designs for the characters, the animating every single frame, every single freaking frame, and then thinking that it looked decent enough to turn into a movie? Because it wasn't me. Okay, let me change this real quick. Thinking that it looked decent enough to turn into a movie. It wasn't me. Perfect. And since this movie, of course, did way better than anyone expected, they, of course, had to make a second one. And yeah, it's not much better. It's really not that much better. It didn't give me permanent nightmares, so it was a bit of an improvement from the first one. The final reason that I will give as to how to make a perfect live-action remake of an original adaptation is easy, but it's to nail the cast. What One Piece did perfectly, no ifs, no buts, was nailing the casting of the show. The casting was near perfect, leading to a huge effect on the overall completion and success of the show. They have to perfectly fit that role, and that's something that is really difficult to do. It's something that not a lot of live action remakes have done, but if it does manage to work out and succeed perfectly, you're gonna have a great live action show ready for millions of people to see. Movies like the live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show how, you know, the money hungry live action Hollywood producers will take any beloved franchise that people across the globe love and completely ruin it just to make any profit. The curse of live action has finally been unlocked, but what lies within this treasure chest? And how will it continue to impact the original adaptations as a whole? Yeah, I don't know, don't ask me.